Today I'm building a lean-to from scratch. I'm going to talk you through the 5 critical mistakes that a lot of people do go through when they're choosing or putting up a lean-to shelter. Location, so just where you kind of set up. The materials, so what kind of resources you have around you. The structure itself, is it going to be solid? Weatherproofing and insulation. And then finally, it's just the one I think most people overestimate is just time and energy. Just how much time and energy is it going to actually take to build a shelter that you want that's going to keep you warm and dry. The first challenge that we actually have is looking for a location. I was in this woods last week and I spent a full 2 hours just walking around looking at possible locations. And each location I actually found, I probably spent a good 5 or 10 minutes just having a quick scoot around just to see what it was actually like. And the things you're looking for, or the things you should be considering then, is obviously wind direction is one of them. You don't want to be setting your shelter up where the wind's just going to be blasting straight into your shelter. That's not going to be good. Another one is runoff. So you don't want to be putting a shelter or building a shelter in a dip, because that's just going to, amass water. So you're looking for places where there's natural runoff, and also dead standing and widowmakers. So you should always look up, look around you to see what the trees are like. I know if just behind me over that way there's an older part of the wood and the trees are much, much taller. And it's great, it's a much more open space. But there are so many branches, limbs higher up just hanging, waiting to fall down to the ground. And if one of them comes down, it's good night, that's it, index, finished, finitoed. So you've got to be really careful about your location, where you're going to choose. Avoid setting up your lean-to shelter anywhere near what appears to be a drainage ditch, just because the water around, or the ground around here, is just going to be saturated. And also in the summer months, it's going to be attracting loads of midges. So this is a place to definitely avoid. So this is the spot that I actually settled on last week. And the reason I chose it, it is slightly higher ground here than everywhere else. So, and there's 2 natural drainage ditches either side. So I think it's where there's been machinery in here in the past before this woodland was established. So, that's probably 20, 30 odd years ago, which incidentally is probably the last time I actually built one of these shelters properly. So it was easily 28 years ago since the last time I built a shelter like this, like a proper shelter, not just something which I've quickly thrown up. So yeah, it's been a while. It's just going to be a journey for you and me. Our next challenge is finding materials. So as you can see, and I know that a lot of the videos that are out there and the wood that they have, the material they find is perfectly straight and, it's easy cut and everything else. And the reality is, a lot of the time, the wood you're cutting, it isn't straight. It is as nature's intended the tree to grow. So, there's slight kinks in it, slight bends in it. So you have to graft a lot more to get the material you need to build your shelter. And I'll say this also, it doesn't matter how much material you think you're going to need to build a shelter, you always need a heck of a lot more, an awful lot more material than you actually think you're going to need. When you're looking for material, you want wood that is not rotten, so anything that snaps easy is not going to be good for building a shelter, because if it can break with my hands, chances are it's going to break on top of you, and you don't want that. The shelter I built last week, or started to build last week, I've actually taken down. So I'm going to talk you through this step by step as I'm doing it, just so you guys get to actually see what I'm doing. And I'll explain why I've taken this down in a second. So I've done a little bit of work without recording here. So what I've done to begin with is, I'll just show you. So the lashing is just a square lashing here against the tree and against this ridge pole. And what I put in today is these sticks with a Y-frame, and that's just to give this a bit more support. So if this rope fails, then there's a bit of support coming through here. And whilst this isn't going straight down to the ground, I've done that on purpose. So I wanted this at a slight angle, and I've actually embedded this stick in the ground by around about 8 inches. So I've dug a little hole, put the stick underneath, lifted this up, and then reset it back on top. And that's just to give it a bit more rigidity. And then I'm going to do the same over on this side, and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. I'm actually going to redo this knot because I ran out of rope or string last week. So I'm actually going to tie this more securely. And then I'll show you what I'm doing then with this forked piece of wood to give me additional support. So again, you can see I've just dug a hole, put the support in, and then the crossbeam is sitting on the V, so that should be really, really strong and stable. Excuse me. And again, when you're picking your crossbeam, don't be picking a piece of dead wood. You want something that is robust, and the easy way of testing it is just putting your own body weight on it. If it supports your body weight, it's going to support the roof. If it doesn't support your body weight, you're going to fall flat on your face. So I'll give this a go now. And I've not tied this up yet, by the way, neither. So, to change the angle there. So I've not tied this up. And all I'm going to do with this is just a clove hitch and then a square lashing around both pieces of tree, just to make this rigid and solid. So I said, the way of testing this is just putting your body weight on there. I said, I've not lashed anything yet. I'm just going to see if it'll actually support my weight just with that support on there as it is. So here it goes. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that's going to support me. And you can see, if I don't lash it, it's easily going to come away at the moment. So I'll just put a my rope on this side, or my string on this side, and just secure it. So just a clove hitch to begin with, and then just a square lashing. And I've got loads of rope today, much more than I had last week. I think last week when I came out, I think I had about 1.5 meters left to lash that together, which really wasn't enough. And I think it's called frapping, where you wrap the rope over and underneath. Just creates, if it's not called frapping, then feel free to correct me on that. But I'm sure that's what it's called. I'm just going to finish off with a clove hitch. In fact, I'll just use all of it. Now that's rigid to both trees, so I can now try this properly. There we go, good and secure. Happy days. Just to recap then, my first challenge is obviously finding a location. So I found a location I'm happy with. I'm confident it's gonna keep me dry. It's not gonna pool water and everything else. There's no dead standing around me. So my location I'm happy with. There's loads of material, dead standing and dead fallen around me. So I'm confident there's enough material here now. And then I've obviously set my ridge pole up, so I'm confident then in my ridge pole. My third challenge then is establishing a strong ridge pole that will support the roof structure, and then all the insulation, everything else is going to go on top. So I'm going to turn you guys off, and I'll come back, because all I'm doing now is just going to be going out there, cutting some wood and dragging the wood I need into the location, and then I'll bring you back when I'm actually putting this all together. So laters. So that is first phase of the shelter put together. And that's taken me, what time is it now? Nearly 2. So 3.5 hours from when I took this down to rebuilding it to get it to this stage here. So time is one of the challenges. And the next challenge, which I may get a bit done today, I'm probably not going to, if I'm honest with you, is to use the debris on the floor. So some of the moss and leaf litter, and then some of these smaller sticks to fill in all the gaps at the back here. So you can see there's loads of gaps. So I'm going to lay loads of sticks going across, and then loads and loads of leaf debris starting from the bottom and then just slowly building up. So that's probably, in reality, that's probably going to be another 3 or 4 hours work to get the top of it insulated and a bit more wind resistance, and then to also work at both sides to close both sides off. But I'm pleased with that. It's a good day's work so far. And it gets dark here in about 2 and a bit hours, or 2 hours or so. So it takes about an hour to get out the woodland back to the main paths. So I'm not going to be spending too long here. You can just see how cold it is here today, because there's still ice on the floor. So it was -1 when I came out this morning, flipping freezing. I tell you, warm as anything now though. For all you food fans, there's no fancy cooking today. There's no venison burgers or trangios or nothing else. Got some good coffee and double chocolate muffins. So that's going to be my snack here. As I've been working away today, there's been loads of robins just coming around just because I've been disturbing the undergrowth. Just coming in, just getting their feed, or just watching me. It's been pretty cool. Silence is magical. Hey, I'm gonna get a coffee on the go here. Cheers to you, wherever you're at in the world. The reason for building the shelter in November this year is to give it time to settle into its environment. And then when the spring comes and all the green, all the new growth starts to, happen, it's going to blend into its environment more naturally. So just that new growth will help disguise it, help camouflage it. And if we get enough debris on top for acting as insulation and weatherproofing, hopefully that will also contain seeds and stuff like that. So we'll then get growth actually on the shelter as well, which will just help disguise it. I mean, seriously, if I go sort of 20 meters to my left over that way, or even 20 meters any direction actually, and I can hardly see the shelter as it is, just this bit of woodland so dense, so thick. But then if I can actually make this harder to see, then that's going to be better for me. If you found today's video interesting, check out the video up here where I'm reviewing a 4x4 tarp, or the DD 4x4 tarp. It's a very good video and a very good tarp. Right, laters guys.